So my husband's been working late for 6 long months, but yesterday my bank contacted me and said, "Hey, are you familiar about this $47,000 that's been withdrawn from your accounts?" And I say, "No, obviously not." And when I contact my husband thinking that we probably just got scammed, I find out he's the one behind all the withdrawals, and when I tell you what it's for, you might lose your mind like I did. I guess I should start from the beginning, but honestly, my brain feels like scrambled eggs right now, so sorry if this doesn't make sense. I just need to get this out before I completely lose it. My husband Elliot and I have been together since college. We met in this awful statistics class where the professor, Dandruff Dave, would literally eat tuna sandwiches while lecturing. Elliot sat next to me and bonded over making bets on how many times Dave would adjust his toupee per class. Stupid, I know, but that's how it started. 7 years later, here I am, in a 7-Eleven's parking lot wondering how the hell everything went so wrong. The working late thing started in January. At first it made sense, his company was launching some new software thing. He's always been the ambitious kind. I actually admired it, you know. Like, wow, look at my hardworking husband grinding for our future. I packed him dinners in those glass containers, the ones from Costco that are supposed to be microwave safe, but always get that weird film on them. And leave post-it notes with dumb jokes like, "What do you call a bear with no teeth? A gummy bear." Crap like that. He would text me photos of an empty container with heart emojis. I believe those darn heart emojis so much. Sorry, I'm trying not to scream here. There's a guy in a Corolla next to me who already looks concerned. My sister Ophelia was supposed to be in Spain studying sustainable architecture or whatever at some program in Barcelona, but she left August, big tearful goodbye at the airport, the whole thing. Mom made her promise to FaceTime every Sunday, and she did. Every single Sunday at 2 p.m. our time. There she was with her stupid architectural drawing in the background, talking about sangria and how the Sagrada Familia was life-changing. Do you know how easy it is to fake a background on FaceTime? I didn't, but apparently my entire family are tech geniuses when it comes to deceiving me specifically. The thing is, Elliot and his best friend Clement have been inseparable since they were kids. Like wear matching Pokemon costumes for Halloween until they're 16, kinda close. Yeah, well, Clement was not really in on it. He was the best man at our wedding, and he gave this whole speech about how he knew I was the one for Elliot, when I did not judge them for the Magic the Gathering obsession that they had, and everybody laughed. I actually teared up because I thought it was sweet how much he cared about Elliot's happiness. Yeah, the joke's been on me. He cared so much about Elliot's happiness that he started dating my sister. But I'm getting ahead of myself because the working late thing, right? So, January through March, I barely saw him and he would leave at 7 a.m., come home at midnight, and weekends too, and I started eating dinner alone watching true crime documentaries. Ironic, right? Our neighbor, who I call Pyramid Scheme Patrice, because she's always trying to sell me essential oils, would see me carrying groceries for one and give me these pitiful looks. "Where's that handsome husband of yours?" she would ask me. Working late, it's a big project," and she would just nod knowingly. "Oh, my first husband said that too. Now he lives in Tucson with a bartender named Destiny." I'd laughed it off because Elliot wasn't like that. We had plans. We were trying for a baby. Well, I was taking prenatal vitamins and tracking my cycle on 3 different apps, and he was apparently planning a wedding that wasn't ours. April is when things got weird. Actually, no, things were weird, but April is when I started noticing. His mother, Deborah, started texting me about our anniversary. 3 years married on September the 15th, and she wanted to help plan something special. A party at this beautiful vineyard where you two said your vows. I thought it was sweet. Deborah had always been kind of cold to me. Like I wasn't quite good enough for her baby boy, so this felt like progress. We had lunch at this bougie place where they serve salads in a mason jar for $18, and she asked about colors, flowers, and guest list. She said she wanted to help with everything. What about coral and gold? Very romantic. I hate coral. I hate it. Our wedding colors were burgundy and navy because I specifically did not want anything that looked like a bottle of Pepto-Bismol threw up on it. But I smiled and nodded because I was so desperate for her approval. Gosh, I can't believe I cared what that woman thought. Meanwhile, Ophelia's Spain updates were getting sparse. Busy with finals, she would text. Architecture is brutal. Mom would forward her the messages to me with proud emojis, and Dad kept saying how grown-up she was becoming and how independent she is. He runs this construction company. It's nothing huge, but successful enough. Ophelia had been working 3 part-time jobs since high school, doing administrative stuff. Dad always talked about how she would take over one day, combine her architecture degree with the family business. My legacy, he would say, even though I'm the older daughter. But whatever, I went into marketing, and apparently spreadsheets are not as legacy-worthy as blueprints. The money thing, oh man, the money thing. I need another mozzarella stick for this part. Okay, so we had this savings account joint, both of our names. We've been building it up for a house down payment. Every month, we would each put in what we could. I was obsessive about it, honestly. I had this spreadsheet where I tracked every dollar and projected interest, the whole 9 yards. We had $73,000 saved. Yeah, $73,000. 5 years of skipping vacations, buying generic cereal, and driving a car with a check engine light. That's been on since 2019. Last week, well, was it last week? Time feels fake right now. Anyways, recently I went to transfer money for our mortgage pre-approval. That's right, we were pre-approved. We looked at houses, and I had a Pinterest board called Future Home with 847 pins. There was this one house with original hardwood floors and a clawfoot tub that I screenshot so many times my phone started suggesting it as a memory. The bank app would not load, kept giving me error messages, so I called and spent 47 minutes on hold listening to jazzy, hold music that I'm pretty sure was designed by the CIA as a torture method. Finally got through to a real human. She says, I'm showing a balance of $26,000. I laughed. Yeah, I laughed at her. I told him that was impossible, there should be over $70,000, and he put me on hold again. And when he came back, his voice had that careful tone because, well, people use when they're about to ruin your life. Oh ma'am, there were several large withdrawals over the past few months. Would you like me to email you the statement? My hands were shaking so bad I dropped my phone. It landed screen down on the tile floor in our kitchen. The kitchen where I made Elliot approximately 8,000 meals while he was working late, and I could hear the guy's tiny little voice asking if I was still there as I stared at the spiderweb of cracks across my screen. The withdrawal started in February. It was $5,000, then $8,000 here and there. All authorized by Elliot, all during business hours when I was at work. The memo were vague. It said like investment, consulting, services, the kind of generic terms that mean absolutely nothing and everything at the same time. I confronted him that night, waited up till he got home at 11:47. He looked tired, shirt untucked, carrying his laptop bag like it weighed 1,000 pounds. I had the bank statements printed out, spread across the dining room table like evidence in a crime scene, which I guess it kinda was. What the hell is this, Elliot? He stopped in the doorway, and I watched his face cycle through emotions like a slot machine. Confusion, recognition, panic, and then resignation? He sent down this bag on the ground slowly, like any sudden movement might make me attack, which honestly wasn't far off, and he said, I can explain. Don't you hate those words, I can explain? Nobody ever follows with, I donated it to orphans, or I was secretly paying off your student loans. It always was something awful. He sat down across me and would not meet my eye. Started talking about Clement, how he met someone, how they needed help, and how it was complicated, and I'm sitting there thinking Clement needed $47,000 for what? A mail order bride? Experimental surgery, what could possibly? And he interrupted. He's marrying Ophelia. I think my brain actually stopped working, like I could hear the words, but they were not computing. Ophelia, my sister, in Spain. Studying architecture, FaceTiming every Sunday from Barcelona. She never went to Spain. She's been living with Clement since August. The program accepted her, but she deferred. They've been planning the wedding. I threw a plate at his head. Not my finest moment, but it was the closest thing I could reach. It missed and shattered against the wall, leaving a dent I'll probably lose my security deposit over, and he didn't even flinch. The story came out in pieces like pulling glass from a wound. Clement and Ophelia started dating last year, secret meetings, lies about girls' nights and work trips. When she got accepted to the program, Clement convinced her to stay. Apparently, they've been planning to elope, but his traditional family will not accept it, so they decided on a proper wedding. But here's the thing. They're broke. Yeah, they're both broke. Clement works at a vape shop and plays bass in a band called Existential Bread. Ophelia had her part-time job at a dad's company, but that barely covered her student loan, so they came to Elliot, my husband, and he decided that our house fund was actually their wedding fund. Why didn't they just tell people? Why all the lies? I asked. He looked at me like I was the stupid one. Oh, because of your dad, because of you. The family would have freaked out about the age difference, about her dropping out of the program, about her dating my husband's best friend? You're being dramatic. I threw another plate and asked him if that's dramatic enough. This time I didn't miss. But wait, it does get worse, because of course it always does. The venue they booked, the Willow Creek Vineyard, where Elliot and I got married, where we danced to the last, by Etta James. While his mother cried and my father made the speech about love being patient and kind, they booked it for September 15th, our anniversary. Mom's been helping them plan. She felt bad they were doing it all alone. Remember all those lunch meetings about coral and gold? The guest list, the flowers, plot twist, not for my anniversary party. I called Deborah right then. It was past midnight, but I didn't care. She answered on the second ring, voice clear like she's been waiting. I suppose you know, she said, not a question. You've been lying to my face for months. She sighed like I was a toddler throwing some sort of tantrum. Ophelia's a lovely girl, much more suitable for Clement than, and someone needed to help them. You've always been so rigid about money, I knew you would never understand. Rigid? Because I want to buy a house instead of funding a secret wedding. Cool. I hung up on her and called Ophelia. Straight to voicemail, called again and again. Finally texted, I know about Spain. Call me now. She responded, can we talk tomorrow? It's late. What do you mean it's late? I screenshot every bank statement, every text, every lie, and posted it all on Facebook. I tagged everybody, her, Clement, Elliot, Deborah, even Dandruff Dave, because why the hell not, and the caption said this, thoughts and prayers for the happy couple. My phone exploded. Dad called first, confused, asking what kind of joke this was, then Mother called crying, demanding to know if it was true. Then Ophelia screaming that I ruined everything, that Dad fired her on the spot, and that the venue was threatening to cancel, and that I was a vindictive jerk who could not stand to see her happy. And I quote, you stole my money for your wedding at my wedding venue on my anniversary. I mean, is that wrong? It's not like you own the date, she said, or the venue. Oh, everything always has to be about you. The last call was from a lawyer. Clement's cousin, apparently, talking about defamation, emotional damages, and cyber harassment. Bunch of legal genre that basically meant they wanted to sue me for telling the truth. Elliot left that night, packed a spend-a-night bag, while I sat on the bedroom floor eating an entire sleeve of Thin Mints and crying into these Girl Scout cookies. He kept saying he never meant for it to go this far, that he thought that they would pay us back, that he was trying to help his friend with my money. Our money since we're married, and he says, well, not for long. He stopped packing and asked me what I mean by not for long, and I laughed hysterically. The kind of laughter that makes people back away slowly like, well, I've already called a lawyer and papers will be ready Monday for a divorce. He tried to argue, to explain, to apologize, but I was done. Capital D-O-N-E. He left around 3 in the morning, and I heard him struggling to get his suitcase from the stairs, and part of me hoped he would fall. But he didn't. I haven't been back to the apartment since yesterday, and I've been driving around, sleeping in my car, eating gas station food, and trying to understand how I missed all of this. Were there signals? Were there signs? Red flags I ignored because I was too focused on ovulation schedules and Pinterest boards? Actually, yeah, they were. Like how Clement always seemed to know things about Ophelia's Spain experience before she told us. Or how Elliot's mother suddenly developed an interest in modern architecture, always asking about the type of design Ophelia studies, or the way Elliot would get weird when I talked about visiting her, always finding reasons why it was a bad time. She's busy with exams. The time difference makes it hard. Let her have her independence. Yeah. So, I found out from my own mother that Ophelia's been living in a loft downtown. I drove past it every day on my way back to work, and she's been 10 minutes away the entire time planning a wedding with my husband's best friend using my money at the venue, and apparently I'm the only one who thinks this is wrong. The wedding is in 3 days. They haven't canceled it, despite everything, despite the Facebook explosion, despite her losing her job, and despite the threats of a lawsuit. They're still getting married. Deborah texted me the details, in case you want to be the bigger person, she said. Coral and gold decorations, Etta James playlist in Willow Creek Vineyard, September 15th. I have the divorce papers in my car. My lawyer rush ordered them to me, and they're sitting in a manila envelope on my passenger seat next to an empty Big Gulp and 3 bags of Funyuns. Part of me wants to show up, walk down that same aisle where I married Elliot, and serve him in front of everyone. The other part wants to disappear, leave town, and start fresh somewhere. Somewhere nobody knows how spectacularly I failed at seeing what was right in front of me. My dad called an hour ago. I finally answered. He was quiet for a long time, then said, "I'm changing the locks on the office. Both of them are not welcome in this family anymore." Both of them. Elliot and Ophelia. Like they're a unit now, like the 3 years of our marriage just evaporated, and, well, she's still your daughter, I said. So are you, he replied, and you didn't lie to my face for a year. But here's the thing that is really messing with me. Part of me understands why they did it. Not the money theft or the venue or the date or any of that weird stuff. That's just cruel. But the hiding, the fear of disappointing the family, I get it. I've spent 3 years trying to make Deborah like me. 3 years of smiling at her passive-aggressive comments and pretending her gifts were not subtle insults. Acting like it didn't hurt when she forgot to include me in family photos. Maybe Ophelia saw all that and decided she would rather lie than deal with the judgment. Maybe Clement knew our family would never accept him the way they barely accepted Elliot. And maybe they're just all cowards who took the easy way out, and I'm the idiot who played by the rules and lost everything anyways. I don't know. It's almost 7 a.m. now and the sun's coming up over the 7-Eleven. The Corolla guy left. A new shift of people are buying coffee and lottery tickets and living their normal lives where husbands don't steal money and sisters stay in Spain. And mother-in-laws are just regular awful instead of conspiracy-level awful. Should I go to the wedding? Part of me does want to see it. I mean, this $47,000 event that cost me my marriage, my sister, my home, my future. Want to see if the coral and gold looks as terrible as I imagine it does. And I want to see Elliot's face when I hand him the papers. Want to see if Ophelia wears Mom's veil, the one she promised I could wear at my wedding but accidentally left at home. But mostly I'm just tired. Tired and broke and sitting in a gas station parking lot with a cold mozzarella stick, grease on my shirt, and no idea what comes next. My apartment, it no longer feels like a safe space. My family doesn't feel like family, and nothing feels real except this hollow ache where my life used to be. Maybe that's the real betrayal, not the money or the lies or the stolen venue. It's that they all made me feel crazy for caring about the things I cared about, for wanting to save money, for trying to plan a future, and for believing people when they said they loved me. I just checked their wedding website, and yeah, they have one. Clement and Ophelia's love story. It talks about how they met through mutual friends, how they bonded over architecture and music, and how they can't wait to start their lives together. No mention of Spain, no mention of me. I was just an obstacle they had to navigate around to get to their happy ending. You know, there's a registry too. They're asking for all clad pans, Vitamix blenders, the audacity. They stole 47 grand and still want a wedding gift. I should go. Show up in my wedding dress, the one that's been in a preservation box in the closet Elliot complained was too cluttered. Handed him the papers and make a scene. Give them something to really sue me about, or should I just stay away? Let them have their perfect day at my venue on my anniversary with my money. Disappear into a new life where nobody knows I was the woman too stupid to see what everyone else apparently knew. I honestly don't know which would hurt more. The mozzarella sticks are ice cold now. They're congealed, like everything else in my life, I guess, and you know, that could be a metaphor in there somewhere, but I'm too tired to find it. Too tired to do anything but sit here and wonder how many people knew. All those Sunday FaceTime calls and the architecture updates, the "I miss you, but this opportunity is too good to pass up," it's pathetic. The divorce lawyer says I can probably get the money back in the settlement. Even says the withdrawals without my consent constitute marital asset dissipation. Legal words that mean nothing when your sister is marrying your husband's best friend with your money at the wedding venue on your anniversary while your mother-in-law plays wedding planner and your dad disowns half his children. This is messy. You know, maybe I will drive to that venue Saturday. Just park outside, watch from my car like some weirdo in a Lifetime movie. See if anyone bothers to look for me, see if Elliot hesitates when Clement asks for the ring. See if Ophelia wears the same thing, something borrowed, something blue. I don't know. I'll probably just go in the opposite direction. Just keep going until my car runs out of gas or I run out of road. Find some small town where nobody cares about sustainable architecture or software launches or wedding venues with a view of the mountains where you promise to love someone until death do you part. You know, I should feel angry. I should want revenge. Should be planning something bigger than a Facebook post and divorce papers, but mostly I just feel empty. My phone's been quiet for the past hour. Either everyone's asleep or they've been giving up trying to reach me. The envelope is staring at me. It's starting to bend from the humidity. The divorce papers getting soft around the edges like everything else, falling apart before it even had a chance to matter. I don't know. I want to ask you guys what exactly you would do. Would you show up at the wedding? Or would you just move on and forget about the lost money? Or do you not show up at the wedding, sue your ex-husband-to-be, and get that $47,000 back? I am lost and I could use all your help. Drop a comment down below. I probably will not be here for an update, but I do want to read what you guys have to say, and I'm planning on reading every single comment. Thank you. Alright guys, today's story was a lot to take in. However, OP has not come out with an update yet. I want to know what you guys personally think about what's going to happen next. Do you think OP shows up at this wedding in her gown and divorce papers in hand, ready to tell everybody what her husband did? And at the same time, it makes me wonder, why was her husband even so compliant with taking the money? Why didn't he just tell her what was happening? I get it, they were trying to hide it from the family, but you don't hide this from your wife, taking $47,000, and then he has the audacity to be surprised when she divorces him. Duh! Let me know in the comment section down below exactly what you think, what you would have done differently, and if you could give some advice, what would you say? I'll see you guys in the next one. Remember, it's cool to be kind. Have a great day. I'll see you then.